My phone vibrated amidst the most disastrous professional gathering. A text from my lawyer popped up, reading, "Refrain from signing anything. Check your emails immediately." I found myself facing Helena Finch, our HR head, and two unfamiliar corporate lawyers who had been detailing severe accusations against me for the past 20 minutes, accusations that could potentially bring an end to my 12-year tenure at Meridian Technologies. My hands remained composed as I grasped for my phone, yet my heart pounded wildly. Helena slid a document towards me. "We require your signature on this separation agreement," she stated, her voice filled with rehearsed empathy that HR personnel often employ before altering one's life trajectory. "Considering the nature of the grievances, we deem it prudent to dissolve our association discreetly." I neglected the document and opened my emails. The subject line from my attorney caused a sinking feeling. "Urgent, your spouse filed identical complaints 6 weeks ago along with supporting evidence." 6 weeks ago. Prior to this predicament, before the clandestine grievances that led me here, I gazed at Helena. "I must make a call. Grant, it's time we conclude this matter. I'm contacting my lawyer, unless you wish to carry on this discussion without affording me that chance." I maintained a steady tone. A corporate lawyer coughed subtly. "Certainly, take whatever time is necessary." I retreated to the hallway and phoned Nathan, my attorney. He picked up immediately. "Didn't you sign?" he inquired. I hadn't. "What on earth is transpiring? Your spouse went to their legal department 6 weeks ago, lodged a formal accusation alleging you were cultivating a hostile work environment for a female colleague with sexual harassment overtones. She claimed she had proof and could no longer remain silent as a concerned spouse." I rested against the wall. 6 weeks prior, Deanna appeared completely normal. At home, I perceived a certain distance which I attributed to work pressure. She was an operations manager in a different department of the same company with minimal overlap in our roles. We had worked together for 7 years without any issues. "Who is this colleague?" I asked, though my suspicions were growing. "Vanessa Chen," she replied. "Does that name sound familiar?" It resonated deeply. Vanessa was Deanna's close work associate, eating lunch with her 3 times a week. Furthermore, Vanessa was dating Kellen Rhodes, the individual who had been seeking to replace me as senior project director for the past year. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place ominously. "Nathan," she revealed, "I've been recording everything." There was an extended silence on his end. "Then it's all everything. Every conversation with my wife over the past 8 weeks, recorded with timestamps. I know Colorado allows one-party consent for recordings, so it's legal." "Why did you make those recordings?" "Around 2 months ago, I discovered text messages on her phone from someone named Kay. Nothing inappropriate, but enough to raise suspicion. When I questioned her, she said it was just a work colleague, became defensive, and accused me of being paranoid. However, her behavior changed, she became secretive, so I started documenting everything as a precaution for potential divorce proceedings." "Hand over all the recordings to me immediately, right now, every single one." I spent the next 15 minutes in that hallway transferring audio files. There were a total of 73 recordings. They consisted of conversations between me and Deanna about various topics, some trivial like dinner choices or weekend plans, others where I'd asked questions about work, about Vanessa, and about her well-being, and 3 recordings that would soon save my career while potentially damaging hers. Upon returning to the conference room, I stood up instead of sitting down. "I'm not signing anything today," I said. "I'm exercising my right to formally respond to these allegations. I want everything in writing." Helena glanced at her lawyers, who concurred with a 2-week timeframe for preparing a response to every complaint, testimony, and evidence presented. "Speed isn't what we're aiming for here," one of the lawyers explained. "You're striving for fairness instead." The lawyer added that Helena had the right to defend herself against unfounded accusations, and they would strictly adhere to protocol. Exiting the building with her career precariously balanced, Helena opted not to return home but instead checked into a hotel room. Spending 6 hours analyzing self-recordings and creating a timeline, she was later joined by Nathan, who brought coffee and a legal pad. "Recording 47 should be your focus," she directed him. Upon playing it, she sought his opinion. 3 weeks prior, on a Sunday morning, Deanna was talking on the phone in our bedroom while I prepared breakfast, oblivious that my phone was still recording on the dresser. Her voice was crystal clear. "He hasn't suspected anything yet. Helena said the investigation will last another week, perhaps 2. By the time they summon him, there will be so many complaints stacked against him that they'll have no choice but to release him." A male voice, not on the phone but in the room with Deanna, spoke. "I've been feeding Helena information for 6 weeks now. I've managed to link every project Grant has worked on to some issue. At every meeting he attended, Vanessa filed a complaint about his inappropriate remarks. They are creating a pattern, and he's done. What about the divorce? After he's dismissed and his reputation is ruined, I will file for legal action. No court would grant him unsupervised visitation with the kids given these circumstances. His severance package will be small since he'll be terminated for misconduct. I'll acquire the house and be granted primary custody, requiring him to pay me alimony for the next decade while he works a middle management job in another state. Nathan halted the recording. His face had paled. There's more, I said. Recording 52 was recorded 5 days later, Deanna speaking on the phone this time, apparently talking to Kellen. I submitted the email screenshots today, the ones we created last week. Helena thinks they're from Grant's genuine account, but I photoshopped them. Corporate won't conduct a forensic audit unless there's a lawsuit, and by then it wouldn't matter. He'll be out of the picture, evidence fabricated. Conspiracy, fraud, recording 61 was the conclusive piece. Deanna and Vanessa discussing in my own living room while I supposedly was at the gym. Returned early, left my phone in my coat by the door, ended up in the garage, Vanessa. I regret the allegations of harassment. Grant has always been a consummate professional, Deanna. The truth may not matter, what matters is the evidence. File the complaints, I will corroborate as a witness. Helena must act, that's how the system functions. Vanessa, but if this leaks, it won't. No one queries the woman in these scenarios. Grant can deny all he wants, but it's his word against 2 women and a pile of documented occurrences. He's done. Nathan and I toiled through the night. By dawn, we had prepared a 30-page response document containing transcript excerpts, audio files, timestamps, and a legal analysis that made one point crystal clear. I wasn't the subject of harassment complaints. Instead, I was the focus of a well-orchestrated fraud scheme. Yet we didn't submit it to HR. Nathan suggested we should escalate instead. If we hand this matter to Helena, the company may attempt to conceal it quietly, resolve both problems, dismiss us, you and Deanna, and move on without a trace. We require corporate legal, the CEO, and we must ensure they can't hide the issue under the rug. He contacted Marcus Patterson, Meridian's general counsel, directly, bypassing HR completely. He submitted the entire package with a cover letter detailing our evidence of fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, falsification of evidence, and conspiracy to interfere with employment. Within 4 hours, we received a response. Marcus requested an immediate meeting. At 6 p.m. on a Thursday, I entered William Harrington's office, Meridian's CEO, along with the CEO and 2 external attorneys the company had engaged. Mr. Harrington, without preamble, stated that they had examined our evidence. They wanted to listen to the recordings themselves. The room was silent except for Deanna's voice, seemingly planning my professional downfall. After the recordings stopped, William faced Marcus. What's our legal standing here? If these recordings are verified, which I think they will be, Mrs. Sawyer and Mr. Rhodes have allegedly engaged in fraud, conspiracy, and possibly criminal wrongdoing. The falsified email proof alone justifies termination and legal action. Ms. Chen is also implicated, as well as Grant's position. All claims against him should be deemed questionable and dismissed due to his suspected involvement. We lack substantial evidence of misconduct. Instead, we have evidence suggesting he has been targeted by a coordinated scheme. William looked at me. He needed a direct answer from me. Is there anything in my actions that provided them with ammunition? Anything that initiated this? No, sir. I've thoroughly examined every project, meeting, and email I've handled over the past year. This situation seems to have originated when my wife started an affair with Kellen Rhodes 3 months ago, and he sought my position, while she aimed to ensure a financially secure divorce settlement. They chose to orchestrate circumstances leading to my termination, rendering me jobless and incapable of contesting custody or property matters. Your wife holds a position here, operations manager in the supply chain division. Were you aware of her relationship with Mr. Rhodes? I had my suspicions about an affair. However, the extent of this plot wasn't clear until I listened to recordings of myself. William acknowledged this. He ordered a temporary halt for all 4 involved, pending a thorough investigation. This includes paid leave and no communication among ourselves or any Meridian staff members. A forensics team will scrutinize the evidence trail. Sir, I grasp the need to suspend my wife and Rhodes, but Vanessa filed false harassment accusations. She's implicated in this scheme. The investigation lasted 11 days, during which I stayed at a hotel. Deanna attempted contact 137 times, which I ignored. On day 8, she appeared at my parents' house where our children were residing. My father asked her to leave. Later, she changed tactics. She messaged, "Grant, we need to discuss things. I made errors. Kellen coerced me and things got out of hand. Contact me," as I passed the message on to Nathan, who subsequently forwarded it to Marcus. This suggests a consciousness of guilt. On day 11, I received a summons to return to the office, where Marcus and William were present, along with outside lawyers. The forensic investigation proved everything, according to Marcus. We uncovered photoshopped emails on Mrs. Sawyer's work computer, messages between her and Mr. Rhodes coordinating complaints, calendar invites for meetings in company conference rooms to orchestrate this scheme, and evidence indicating that Helena Finch was aware of irregularities in the complaint process, but chose to proceed nonetheless. Kellen is dismissed, William announced, while Deanna Sawyer and Kellen Rhodes are immediately terminated for cause. We're filing criminal complaints for fraud and conspiracy. Vanessa Chen is also terminated due to her role in submitting false reports. What about me? I am being elevated to Executive Project Director, effective from next Monday. 20% wage rise, new work team, and a written apology from Meridian Technologies for the harm inflicted during this process. Additionally, they offer to pay your legal costs, both for disputing these unfounded accusations and your divorce proceedings. I might have felt triumphant. Instead, I just felt weary. I requested one more thing, I stated. I want it clearly stated in every termination document and all legal filings what occurred. No silent severance agreements. No NDAs to let them portray this as a mutual decision. If anyone asks Meridian for an employment reference, I want the facts disclosed. William looked at Marcus. Marcus acknowledged. Done, William said. The divorce proceeded quicker than anticipated. Deanna's attorney withdrew after listening to the recordings. She could not find another lawyer willing to represent her once criminal charges were filed. We resolved the matter in mediation. I obtained primary custody, the house, and received spousal support for 2 years as she rebuilt her career in another state. Kellen Rhodes attempted to sue Meridian for wrongful termination, but the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice following a 10-minute excerpt of recording 47. Currently, he works in sales for a tech startup in Arizona. Vanessa Chen relocated to Seattle, and I'm unsure about her subsequent life there. Helena Finch secured employment at a mid-sized consulting firm. However, it remains unclear why she truly left Meridian. One thing people don't tell you about revenge is that it doesn't bring the satisfaction expected. Upon entering the CEO's office and playing those recordings, I did not feel victorious but rather sorrowful. Sorrowful that my wife, who I had loved for 14 years, was capable of such calculated cruelty. Sorrowful that I had to meticulously document our marriage like a detective for 8 weeks. Yet, I was not remorseful. I've saved one recording that I haven't disclosed to anyone else. It was made on the day following my discovery of her initial texts on her phone, where I had asked Deanna about her feelings for me and the future of our marriage. She responded by looking directly at me and saying, "Naturally, I love you. You are my partner. We make a team." Yet just weeks later, she stood in our bedroom discussing with Kellen Rhodes how to ruin my career and seize all that I had worked hard for. In moments of self-doubt late at night, when I question myself about handling the situation differently or feel remorseful for the drastic step I took, I listen to this recording. It reminds me that I didn't pick a destructive path. I chose documentation, legal procedures, and self-defense with truth. However, Deanna chose destruction when she deemed my reputation, career, relationship with my children, and financial stability acceptable sacrifices in pursuit of her vision for a better life. The recordings verified that the fallout affected the appropriate individual. Occasionally, my children ask why their mother doesn't reside with us anymore. I explained to them, in terms suitable for their age, that she made significant errors at her job and within our marriage, causing harm to people, including their father. When someone inflicts such damage, there are often repercussions. My 9-year-old son recently asked me if I felt sad about his mother leaving. After much contemplation, I responded that I am disheartened by her actions but not by my decision to assert myself. I hope they learned something from it. If someone tries to undermine you, even someone you hold dear, you don't have to submit passively. You defend yourself, speak the truth, and let the consequences unfold as they should. He seemed to comprehend, though he likely didn't fully grasp it then. In time, he will. I recently received an email from a colleague at Meridian, someone who had heard whispers about what transpired but lacked specifics. He was experiencing a similar predicament, his wife behaving oddly, showing signs of suspicion. He sought my guidance. I advised him as Nathan had counseled me. Record everything, hope you never need it, but if you do, you'll be grateful for it. He expressed gratitude. Regarding his situation, I wish him well. This narrative isn't a guideline, it's not a suggestion. It's simply my response when I found myself in an unprecedented predicament and decided to safeguard myself by recording every interaction legally. Each move was calculated, each piece of evidence was corroborated, and when I eventually took action, it wasn't out of vengeance, it was for the pursuit of truth. Vengeance was merely a consequence.